What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
What is up? Yeah, I'm trying to enunciate a little bit better. I think for whatever reason, like it says instead of cybersecurity, it says cyber scary sometimes. Instead of Shannon Tynes, it's like Shatines. Yeah, it's just one word. So I'm like, I'm saying something wrong here. But so welcome to the podcast. It's the Other Side of the Firewall. So we talk about all the cyber stuff. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, where I sit down and I speak to somebody who's in the industry, typically in the C-suite, senior level positions. So I've been blessed this year. I've spoken to about 20 people who've gone on the podcast. And the latest one, I should say, is Shauna Weatherly, which should be this week. Hopefully you heard it yesterday. If not, that means I'm still having some technical issues with the recording. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm doing a little bit of engineering because I messed up. My mic was way too close to the sound, and I got to figure it out. So it's a really good interview, so I want to make sure I clean it up and present a good product. And then Friday's everything else. So movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So last week we had an in-depth discussion of why Daniel was wrong about Deadpool and Wolverine. Spoiler free, so please go check that out. But definitely check out this entire week. It's been a really good one for news and information. It's a little bit slower than normal, which is a good thing because every week it seems to be something. 2.9 billion records being stolen. That's pretty big.
It's pretty big. CMMC, pretty big.
Pretty big, yeah, you're right.
Big to me,
so
yeah.
Quantum computing, it's still theoretical,
yeah.
It's happening, right? But check out all these things that we have going on, and then I'm going to have a random ad placed in the middle that I'm going to read, hopefully better than I've read for the rest of the week. But with all that being said, Shannon, how was your week?
Man, it's pretty good, man. It was my children's first week of school. So my youngest son started middle school. So that's a little bit of a change for him, right? Because he has to go between all the different classes and whatnot. But both of them came out pretty unscathed from it. You know what I mean? My son this year wanted to ride the bus, which was a new thing for him because mom was always dropping him off. He probably didn't want to get seen getting dropped off by his mom. I'm hoping she wasn't kissing him on the mouth when she dropped him off. Like maybe that's why he was like, I want to ride the bus this year. I don't know. I never asked her, like, were you kissing him in front of the school? And he was like, I want to ride the bus this year, so you're not with me or whatever, you know. But it was kind of funny. Like it hurt her heart a little bit. So the first day, I happened to be home and I was leaving for work, and she sent me a text because she walked him down to the bus stop, right? Because it wasn't where it normally is, which was like we could walk out our front door and look right down the street, and it was right there. They had to go a few blocks down. So as I'm leaving, she sends me a text. She's like, hey, he wants me to leave him down here by himself because other children are showing up. Should I leave him? And through the message, I thought she was joking with me, like, haha, should I leave him or should I embarrass him a little bit more? But she was serious. So like I start to drive, and I drive down the street a little bit, and I see her walking up. I was like, you want me to give you a ride back to the house? She's like, no, I can walk. And so she's telling me the story. She's like, he turns to her and he's like, Mom, you can go now. And he's pointing like this at other children that are coming up. So he's like, you can leave. Other kids are coming. You're embarrassing me. You know what I mean? And no mom wants to hear that from their baby boy, right? And so she leaves. So she tells me that. And I was like, it hurt your heart, didn't it? She's like, yeah, it did. I was like, oh, man. I was like, okay. I feel for you now. You know what I mean? But like they're growing up, right? They're growing up. And it's one of the things where, and so here's the thing. So that day, my daughter, she takes her to school, right? That day, after finding out her brother rode the bus, she's like, I want to ride the bus. So now my daughter is on the bus. And my wife is just like, I know she's kind of feeling hurt by it. You know what I mean? She don't get to take her kids to school anymore and drop them off at they call it the kiss and go is what they call the drop off for them. It's the kiss and go. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. that's what it's called. But yeah, so both of the children are riding the bus. It's been good this week, like no issues or anything, but it's the first week, right? Like kids are probably, you know, they're learning what trouble they can get into, you know what I mean, before they start wilding out a little bit. But no, it was a good week for them. I'll tell you something. I was this close to buying Madden this week. I was like this close, but I didn't do it. I'm looking at the reviews and it seems better than what it has been, because last year's I was not thrilled with. Like I was trying to get my money's worth and I was putting some time into it. And I actually logged on to do something and looked the last time I played Madden and it was like November. Like I haven't even played it in 2024. Like it was that disappointing to me. But it's supposed to be a lot better. And I know a lot of people that have played the new college football game, NCAA football 2025. We're like, oh, it's so great, this, that, and the third. But the more reviews I read, it's because of the presentation of it, right? And I'm like, I don't need the presentation. I don't need the college environment and all that to make me feel like a game is so great. But so probably, I don't know. We'll see today. I might get on there and be like, don't worry about it. Just drop that 70, Shannon. See what it's
Right.
like. But the people that are hating on it just seem like they're hating out of habit. You know what I mean? Like they're just like, Madden's been bad for so long, this, that, and the third. But I'm like, if NCAA football 25 was so good, right? As people are saying, like Madden, it used to be, it would follow the same template. Like when you saw college football, you knew what Madden was going to look like. It was just going to bring it up to the pro game, right?
But so that's my beef with it, because it's not. And I'm not trying to discourage you from getting it, like, but NCAA is next gen only. Madden still has the PS4 and Xbox. What is it? Xbox One ports as well, right? Like they still have a foot in the past because they still have to cater to 200 million gamers that have not upgraded. You know, they're still back there. Please upgrade. I'm sick of y'all. Like I'm sick of all these games having to be portable to the older systems. Like get out of there. Like we don't want the game to be playable on PS2 any longer. All right, we want next gen only games.
PS2 is the GOAT.
Upgrade.
It's the GOAT.
I'm sick of it. Because when I saw there was also the older console ports, I was like,
But you just lose some functionality for those though. So like anybody who buys it on PS4, they're losing some functionality of some things they can do in the. I guess we can call it current gen now, right? It's been a few years. It could be called current gen.
I still say
right?
next gen. But
I know. What's the cutoff on that? I don't know what it is. But.
Yeah, it should. Well, because we're stuck. We're stuck between these two generations, right? Because of like COVID and supply shortages and the economy. Like people are just not spending as much money as they used to. I get it. I get all the above. But I need y'all to trade them up. I need you to go to GameStop before they die, trade your system in, and get the new hottest, latest and greatest. Because they only get 11 months to make this game. You think they're going to make two separate versions, like hardcore versions of the same? They're not. They're going to make it just playable enough on the old version and just enough on the new version, like a little bit more polished.
Like
I want next gen only.
Ryan's gonna want quantum computing gaming. That's what he's gonna want. Breaking algorithms and everything.
I do. I want quantum PS10,
PSQ1.
So let me ask you something. Do y'all have it? Because Junior plays it every year, right?
No, so he didn't get it this year. So because he's been like, so he gets he gets NBA 2K every year. He didn't get it this year.
Oh, okay, all right.
But usually Madden is floating around the house. Like we might get a Madden every couple years or so. And I was going to get it off the tail of the last one. I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to play this time. I'm going to play Shannon. I'm going to get better. And then realized A, that's not going to happen. But B, also only 2 generations. I was like, I'll just wait. But will next year straddle 2 generations? Probably. Like people are refusing to upgrade. There's more PS5s at this time in the life cycle than there were PS4s. So Sony is selling like hotcakes. There's 120 million PS4 owners back there.
I don't think they're going to do it for both generations next year. I don't. Like
you think they'll finally give up the ghost?
They're going to have to.
What's that ratio? What is the percentage though? So that could definitely impact.
I think they're
the
at
revenue,
60 million, maybe. I think I'm just guessing right now because I can't remember. I watched this thing called Next Gen Console Watch. It's an IGN show. I think they said there are 60 million. But there's still 120 million, PS4 owners out there. Like when you look at the PSN stats, the majority are still on PS4.
So, so like you said, right? So you said NCAA football was not made for the previous generation, right?
No, it was only current gen.
And look at how it's selling and how it's perceived. You know what I mean? Like I think that's what's going to happen.
People paid the 3 days early tax is what it's being called. People paid an extra $30. So they spent $100 to get it 3 days early. That's $10 a day.
And that's when I thought about it. Like I went and looked and it was the 3-day early release was like on Tuesday or whatever. You had to buy the deluxe edition, but then they were offering it. I think it was like 15% off or something like that, like on that day. And I was like, ooh, I was like, that's tempting. I was like, but I'm gonna wait it out. And then Friday came, and I was like, oh, you back to regular price now? Like you ain't got no 10-15% off now, you know, on the release day. You know what I mean? What you doing? So I didn't do it, but like I'm looking at the reviews, and like it's still getting dogged. Like it's still, depending on where you go, it's like 2 point something. But when you look at the ones that are the low reviews, it looks like people haven't even played it yet. They're like, Madden has been bad for years. Like you're not giving me anything specific. Like give me the specifics on why you say it's bad. Madden's been bad for years, and this is why I'll never get Madden until EA loses the license, this, that, and the third. I'm like, you've provided no real information.
They're never gonna give up the license.
Right.
It's never gonna happen.
Right. I mean,
how much whatever it costs, they're gonna pay it.
But here's if they cared that much about it, they would just say, okay, it's not going to be exclusive. Like you can buy it, tell us what your offer is, but we're also going to offer it to 2K. You know, we're also going to offer it to whatever other studio wants to jump in there, right? But usually it was 2K and EA.
Yeah. So I can't say never, because look at NBA, or not NBA. I'm sorry, MLB The Show is now multi-plat, right? And you can get it on. Like it was, it's developed by Sony, so Sony makes it. And MLB was like, you no longer have exclusivity, platform exclusivity. Like we're going to sell it everywhere, or you lose it basically. Yeah. So it could happen, but I think the NFL might have a little bit more sway than the MLB. Maybe, I don't know.
Slightly more.
They do for sure. Yeah, they are the most profitable league we have in North American sports, right? So yeah,
right by design.
Yeah, yeah. But so yeah, almost got it. I don't know. We'll see. Next week I'll probably be like, man, I played it this year. It's way better. You know what I mean? But we'll see.
Right.
But started watching American Murder, and it's like the Lacey Peterson story. You know what I mean? Y'all remember Lacey Peterson, the one where her husband Scott went to jail for her murder and whatnot. So I'm still in my documentary phase. It's a little longer than what it used to be, right? So started watching that, and it's interesting because that story I didn't pay as much attention to as it was happening. So I am actually learning some stuff. Like I read a review on it where the person that was writing the review was like, if you kept up with the stories, like you probably won't gain anything new from it. But I know in this one, the mistress actually she's being interviewed and she's talking like, hey, like this, we were talking every day, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh man, okay.
Right.
That's what I want to see. Like, give me the major players here, right? On what's going on, you know, that makes a good documentary. So that's an interesting watch. I haven't finished it yet, but that's an interesting watch. I started rewatching this show. Great News was the name of it. Only got 2 seasons, and it was executive produced by Tina Fey. So anybody out there who's like a 30 Rock fan, it's kind of the same tempo, right? Like so, but the name of it was Great News. So I watched that series too, because I'm a Tina Fey fan, man. Like she very seldom can she miss for me, you know, with some of the stuff she does, right? But,
right.
And I know a lot of people like. There are a few people I talk to that based off political affiliation, they just won't watch her, right? Because she goes kind of hard at the conservatives, right? But like some of the stuff, if you watch her stuff, there's some times where she's like, she made a joke one time in 30 Rock. She was like, she thought she was going down in a plane. And she said, I'll probably tell all my friends that I'll vote for Barack Obama, but I'll really vote for John McCain. stuff. Again, this show is older, right? So we're talking about the 2008 presidential cycle, but like she makes jokes like that and little stuff like that creeps up to where it's like, man, you know what I mean? But yeah, for the most part, a lot of the people on the right are not fans because she goes hard on them. But it's funny because when you watch, to go back to 30 Rock, when you watch 30 Rock, Alec Baldwin, very, very progressive liberal, you know what I mean? But like he plays a hard right conservative on that show. And like some of the stuff he says to her, I'm like, he probably couldn't get away with it today. You know what I mean? Because like that show started like, you know what,
because he was so left wing, it was probably easier for him to just be a hard right, because he can be that caricature of the person that he doesn't like, right?
You're probably right. You're probably right. But he was very, very conservative, hard right, man. Yeah. It was just some of the stuff he says to her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's a bit much, you know what I mean? About sexuality and things of that nature. It's just crazy. But yeah, that was pretty much it for me. I'm taking up a lot of time here. Chris, how was your week, man?
I mean, this past weekend, we actually spent time to celebrate a birthday. We went out into the bay. Well, we chartered a pontoon boat, a little party boat with 12 people. So that was a lot of fun. It was captain, so we just brought drinks and snacks and food. So, you know, sailed out there, right between like Treasure Island and that area. It was a lot.
Oh, it's my favorite beach. Treasure Island.
It's great. Yeah,
it's my favorite beach.
It was a good time. So with that, that's why I was absent last week, because I was unable to be. I wasn't talking that morning. Let's just say that.
Partying. You heard it here, folks. When he runs for mayor of Tampa,
man. I mean, yeah. So not to get into politics again, but that's why, it doesn't matter if you serve 20, 24, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, you're going to be attacked for something you've done, even if it's a good thing. So it's just, But I'll get away from that statement. But never. I could never do politics. They'd find something and dig at it, and it's just like
take the show, and then they do the thing where they just have your panel, and they put it in black and white, and they zoom in.
Exactly. They're going to take something I said here out of context. They're going to say anything that we've said on here can be taken out of context. It doesn't matter. Their deep fake is going to be so good by then. Like, they're going to have us saying anything, and they're just going to make it true. It actually happened, right? But that was my that was my past weekend. But on the media end, pretty light, right? We actually finally finished Death in Paradise, the Caribbean show. The Caribbean crime show. We didn't finish it because we watched it through a platform called BritBox. BritBox is pretty much all British shows. We love British TV, right? But they don't release things in real time because we're, in the US. So I'm assuming they're going to release just the season that's currently airing right now in its entirety by like early next year. But it's really cool. And really, Ryan's Caribbean vacation and then watching this show.
There's always murder involved.
And my YouTube algorithm going to like yacht reviews, the stuff that I can't afford, and I'm just like, I just wanna get on the water all day now. It's just like I was looking at like my captain's courses, like what do I need to do to get Coast Guard captain certified here it's actually not too. I mean, it's just time on the water and stuff like that. But it's not. But yeah, it's just like stuff that I've done before. But obviously being in the Navy, I've been on the water for long periods of time. But again, having that small little boat and craft, it's really cool. I'm just really envious of these people that can just ride over to Key West or to Bahamas in their boat for a day and come back. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. That's awesome.
Do you need a passport for that? Is there anybody out there checking?
Yeah, so I was reading up on it. Like, the people that live in like Fort Lauderdale, that area that have their, Miami, really, affluent people, right? You bring in your passport. You bring your passport to go to the Bahamas, and then they'll sail their boats or little yachts.
Yeah. So then when you port, you just show your passport or whatever.
Yeah. So that's you go into like Port Authority or something. You show your passport, and there's like a travel visa that you got to do, but apparently you can do it online, right? So a lot of them just do that. But people do that in like their small like fishing boats, right? So you don't need like a yacht to go to Bimini. But that'd be something cool. I'd ride along with somebody like, hey, who's offering that? Like, how much does that cost? That'd be kind of fun.
I don't know. As you start getting onto those deeper waters, like I don't want to be in a small fishing boat. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true,
give me something bigger.
You get on YouTube and your algorithm says, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can get on there with a little one outboard engine, like paddle boat, like
a pirate.
Yeah, we've got the best of the best technology now. Like, there's people off the coast of other countries, I won't say, that are performing activities that are of an illegal nature and not so watertight boats. Right. But anyway,
right?
Yeah, but anyway, media pretty light. I think I'm really getting back into NFL. Right, preseason started for my Minnesota Vikings. I'm a Vikings fan. We're getting cooked again in the preseason from the personnel standpoint. Like our QB's injured.
Yeah.
For the season.
I was gonna ask you about that for the season. Yeah. So how you feel about that, man?
But the thing is, he's a rookie, so I think, investing in his health for the long term, and he was apparently during training camp, he was freaking killing it, right?
Yeah.
But I think having him sit out this first season, really taking in how the game, the NFL game works, and then having him potentially start next season, I think that's for the long term, that's a good thing. But again, Minnesota's we're not gonna win any Super Bowls anytime soon, unfortunately. But I'm hoping for that Bills Vikings Super Bowl one day. That's gonna be it. the two teams that have
One
lost four.
day.
The two teams that have lost 4 Super Bowls, right? And we've never won one. Like that's BS. That's honestly not fair.
Statistically,
It's
not possible.
yeah.
How we get here?
So the Vikings have won, like, of any of the teams that have won the most, like, conference, or like we've won the most NFC North championships, right? We've won so many, but we don't have any Super Bowls to show for it, right? Versus other teams that have similar, or even less, their, AFC South, whatever conference, they've got like 1 or 2 Super Bowls, right? So I'm just like, sometimes just being a Minnesota fan is very rough. It's just very rough. We got Anthony Edwards in the Timberwolves, so I'm pretty excited for him.
Yeah.
But he's still a young buck, but I've been watching Timberwolves. That last series against Dallas was heartbreaking. So sports light on the media, but also looking at. So I know we were discussing House of the Dragon, right? But looking at starting over on Game of Thrones prior to watching that, just to make sure some of my family members catch up to it as well. So maybe I could enjoy that and watch the reactions in real time of that show. So
right. Yeah, it's not. So I don't believe it's just good to watch, right? Until you get to like season 7, 8.
8, yeah.
But it doesn't really there's the Easter eggs are so deep in lore that they go over my head anyway. So I just watch it for what it is right now, and they pare it down a lot. There aren't as many houses or as many background things happening. It's pretty straightforward to a certain extent. So, but I'm still trying to get through season 1 with my wife before we get to season 2, which should, I think, wrap up pretty soon
for sure. But yeah, that was my week. Pretty light. We'll see what's upcoming. I mean, we'll see.
Okay. So, abbreviated ad. So, The Other Side of the Firewall is a proud product of RAM Cyber Solutions and Assessments, LLC. So, if you want your ad read here by RAM Cyber's CEO, me, then please reach out to me through the email address, theothersideofthefw@gmail.com. So, I'll send you a package and you can kind of figure out what you want to do with pre-roll, mid-roll, or the end roll, I guess, marketing. So yeah, hit us up. So with that out of the way, so my week pretty mirrors Shannon's, right? So first week of school. So we have the college student. She'll be going to her second term this year, but she gets a couple more weeks off because she did summer term 2, I want to say, and now she's doing fall 1. So there's a little bit of a break in there, but she did great. Aced all of her classes. I'm super proud.
Nice.
So now all the other kids will be coming in, right? So she has a little bit more of a leg up. She kind of understands how all the processes work, but she was all online for this past term. Now she's actually going on campus this term. So that'll be different for her, but then she gets to meet a lot of people, right? So it'll be kind of cool. Then I have a junior. So he's on the bus this week. Same thing. Like, hey, I could just drop you off at the school. And he was like, nah, I'll just take the bus. I'm like, your mind is still developing, but when you are in your 40s like me, you're gonna be like, I wish somebody would chaperone me or something. I wish I did have a private driver. Why am I standing here because all the kids wear sweats in Florida? Why am I standing here in 80-degree morning weather in sweats when I could be in an air conditioned car? Kids, I don't know. I was one too, I guess. So it is what it is. But then I also have a 4th grader, so he is back in school. I drop him off though. He's not super excited like he used to be. Like it's starting to the glow is starting to wear off. And it's kind of sad. He's just like, I gotta go to school Monday. Like it's a job. Like, but yeah, he's just not as pumped as he used to be. I don't remember that with the other kids, but I'm sure it was the same. It's been years between the two of them, right? From a junior in high school to a 4th grader, I've lost some memory in between. But yeah, so everybody's back in school, so that started up. And then the LLC got approved, so I'm still working some packages and things of that nature to get things squared away. So you'll hear more about that in the future. Right now, we're just using it to house the podcast, and then I can start to reach out for sponsorship and marketing and things of that nature under a brand now. So RAM Cyber, there it is. But in the future, I hope to do consulting and things of that nature. So, and then game-wise, I played a game called... It was free. It was on PSN. Oh, watch, it won't pop up now. It's like Lilies Enders or Ender Lilies. Is it Ender Lilies? Yeah. Ender Lilies. Look, I'm typing real time because
Ender Lilies.
Yeah. Ender Lilies: Quietus of the Nights. So it's a 2D platformer from 2021. It's kind of dark, gothic, very anime inspired. I like the soundtrack; it's very haunting. So it's hitting all of it's checking all the boxes, right? It's like a Metroidvania. So as you progress, you learn new moves. So you can go back to other areas, and like before, I couldn't get to a ledge, but now I have a double jump that I learned, so now I can get to that ledge, right?
Nice.
I just got to remember how to get back there to get to that ledge. I like it. It's People complained online, like it has a lot of really positive reviews, but the low one said it's just stiff, right? People are used to these games being a little bit more fluid, but for me, it's not as stiff as Mario, so I like it. So I'm going to play until I get frustrated, and I'll probably jump onto something else. But it's just a palate cleanser, because what I've learned is I'm going to go back to Final Fantasy and I'm going to go back to Zelda, but I really enjoy these games. What I've learned is I don't like to be in a game longer than 40, 50 hours. Like once I hit that threshold, even though it's a good game, I'm just like, I'm kind of ready for something different. So I think I just have to like cool off a little bit and I can go back to it. But because I put 100 hours in Zelda and I'm nowhere near finished, I'm just like, I got to get out of here. I got to do something different. So for me, yeah, I think that's what it is. Once I hit that threshold, it's kind of like, okay, I need to back off and do something different. So hopefully by the end of the year, I can complete Zelda or I can complete Final Fantasy, because I think I put 60 hours in the Final Fantasy. I'm only halfway done with that one. Mm-hmm. So that's another 100-hour game. So now I'm playing these really short but sweet games, right? Like Ratchet and Clank, and now I'm playing this Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights, and then there's another platformer that I want to play. It's another EA original that kind of got panned. It was man, it'll come back to me. It's like it's based on like Afrofuturism and things of that nature. So it's got like a storyline written by an actor. He created a production studio to make games, and it's kind of like how he got over his father's death is by making a game. So it has kind of like that undertone to the game, is him trying to do something for his father or follow his father's path or something like that. I haven't gotten into it yet, but I know it came up during the culture wars. Like people were like, "Oh, this game's woke," and then people who played it are like, "Nah, not really. It's got an African undertone and an all black cast because it's in Africa."
Everything African is woke.
So it got kind of like a bad rap. So I'm gonna play that one next because I'm hearing good things. Like it's actually pretty good Metrovania. So I never finished those games though, because I get to a point where I just can't remember where I need to go. I'm just like, I'm done here. And I move
you
on.
Switch games a lot? Like you like rotate between a set of games?
I do.
Yeah.
I usually have one or I have at least two going at any given time, but then I'll just peter off of something. Like Dead Space was great, and I just stopped playing it. I just started playing everything else. So because now we have all these game subscriptions, I have so many games available to me, so I don't have to play a game forever, right? I can just, well, okay, I've played that enough, I'll move on to something different. So, but then I just never finish them. So that's the drawback. But aside from that, just trying to hang out with the family. Hopefully today, go grab some breakfast or something. But that's pretty much my plans. Definitely continue to hit us up by all of the platform names. So the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on all the social media platforms. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Abacon. Last name spelled A Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.